Hello everyone, welcome back to Lucky Loads 15, and in this particular video I'm going to be previewing day 1 of the Aintree Festival. I'm going to go through all 7 races. Also as well, over the next couple of days I'll upload videos looking at day 2 and day 3 of the festival, so please stay tuned for them over the next couple of days, and we'll be building up to the spectacular event which will be on Saturday with the renewal of the Grand National. I've already done a video specialising on the Grand National if you want to go back and check it out. I did that yesterday and I give you my top 3 selections for the race, and also as well a few stats and facts along the way to try and help you find the winner of the race. So go back and check it out if you haven't done so already. Anyway, enough of me waffling on. I'm going to be getting stuck into the action straight away with the first race on the card tomorrow at Aintree, and it's in the 145, and I'm tipping up a horse here called Brainpower. Now I thought this race was quite competitive, but Brainpower I thought had a very good chance. It's going to be on better ground, and last time we saw it, it raced at the Cheltenham Festival where it came second in the Arkle behind footpads. You might remember St Calvados and Petit Mouchoir went like the clappers in that race, and in the end Brainpower went past them. They were very tired, those horses, St Calvados, who got pulled up, and Petit Mouchoir, who really faded out badly at the end. But Brainpower was no match for footpad, but the conditions were probably against Brainpower that day, and that was the first run back he had a wind up. And he's been a bit unlucky this season. He hasn't had the race go for him. He needs a good, strong pace in the race, and I thought he would get that tomorrow, and I thought he could definitely come through the field, and I thought he would definitely improve for a second run after having a wind up. The theory seemed to suggest that horses run better the second time out after they've had a wind up, so that statistic should hopefully go well for us tomorrow. And I thought 5-2, trained by Nicky Henderson, like I mentioned, who's going to have a great Aintree Festival probably. Nico de Boinville, good experienced jockey, taking the reins. I thought there was a lot to like about Brainpower's chances tomorrow, and he's going to be the one for me in the 145, the first race on the card at Aintree tomorrow. Moving on to the next race tomorrow in the 220, and I'm going with a horse here called We Have a Dream. Now, I was really liking We Have a Dream's chances at the Cheltenham Festival until it got withdrawn the week before the festival, and in the end didn't run, and it was really disappointing because he had some very good form going into the race. He was 4 from 4 in Britain in the colours of Simon Munir and Isaac Swade. Good, serious horse racing owners, always horses. You always want to follow their horses, so it was really disappointing that We Have a Dream couldn't turn up to the Cheltenham Festival, but he's going to be going to Aintree. He's going to be going up against Apple Shakira, who ran very disappointingly, I thought, in the Triumph Hurdle, but I wasn't really impressed by Apple Shakira anyway beforehand. I thought there was a lot of hype around the horse just because it was trained by Nicky Henderson and it had been running at Cheltenham. I kind of like horses in that particular race that might have run elsewhere and then I come into Cheltenham because we know they can do the business at a few different tracks and they're consistent rather than just being a one-track animal, as it were. But you do get that within horse racing, horses that just like to run at one track. But I thought We Have a Dream was probably the more classier animal, and I think the better ground will definitely help its claims tomorrow. And Daryl Jacobs booked to take the ride, who's a very good, capable jockey booking. So priced up 2-1 with bookmakers at the moment, and I thought he was the one for me in the 220. So moving on to the next race, and it's probably the banker bet tomorrow. I'm going to go for Mike Bite with Nicky Henderson and Nico de Boinville again. Came second in the Cheltenham Gold Cup, was very well fancied for it, but probably the conditions went against him that day, and he'll probably definitely like the good to soft going being described at Aintree at the moment, and he's definitely the classiest horse in the race. He's odds on favourite at the moment, 8-11, but unless he falls or something went seriously wrong, I really can't see him getting beaten, and he's maybe one you might want to put in a multi-bet tomorrow, something like a double or a treble. I know I'm not tipping you a lot of good odds horses or long odds horses, but I really don't see any of these kind of horses getting beaten tomorrow, and it's going to be the same in the next race in the 325. I'm going to go for Supasundae of Jessica Harrington, Robbie Power taking the ride in the colours of Alan and Ann Potts, so obviously good connections there. Supasundae, if you follow horse racing, you'll know he finished second in the Stayers Hurdle at the Cheltenham Festival. A lot of people didn't think he would stay home that day, but he ran a valiant race behind Penhill, and before that he beat Forheen, running on very well at the end in the Irish Champion Hurdle at the Dublin Racing Festival, so he knows how to turn up for the big occasions, and I think tomorrow will be his ideal trip over the 2 miles and 4 furlongs, and I think for me Supasundae is the one they've all got to beat, so I'm going to be following the trend of backing the favourites so far. But for the next race, we're not going with a favourite, but we're going with a horse that used to be very good in the Fox Hunters in the 405 tomorrow. And we're going with a horse called On the Fringe, trained by Edna Bolger. Nina Carberry takes the ride tomorrow in the colours of JP McManus now. This horse won this race back in 2015 and in 2016, but has been through a bit of a cold patch in the last year or so. He is getting on a bit. He is 13 years old, but I thought he'd run a not a bad race in the Fox Hunters at the Cheltenham Festival, even though he did finish in 9th place. I thought maybe Aintree could bring out the best in him tomorrow by returning there, and it might be his last race before they retire him, and it would be good if he went out on a decent run. Currently priced up at 8-1 bookmakers at the moment. I thought he might not be a bad each way bet tomorrow, so he's going to be my selection in the Fox Hunters. We then go to the next race, which is quite a competitive handicap, going with a horse called Theinval, trained by Nicky Henson again, who I said is probably going to have a fantastic day tomorrow. Jeremiah McGrath takes the ride, normally a second or third string jockey booking, but a very good jockey nonetheless. This horse, last time we saw it, finished 4th in the Grand Annual at Cheltenham on conditions which were probably not suitable for it. It's probably going to appreciate the better ground tomorrow. Finished second in this race last year, off a £3 higher mark, and you like to think, still being 8 years old, there's still plenty more in its locker to run a good race, and I thought 6-1 he was a cracking each way bet at those prices, so that's going to be the selection for me in the handicap tomorrow. The last selection is obviously going to be in the Mayor's Bumper race tomorrow. Quite competitive renewal as always, often throws out a lot of good horses. Last year's renewal was really good, this year's renewal looks good as well, and I'm going with a horse here called Dullhallow Gesture, trained by Anthony Honeyball's got a very good record in these kind of races. You might remember he trains AC Milan, who had a very good bump form this year, and he ran okay at the Cheltenham Festival, finishing 4th in the Champion Bumper. So he knows how to get the jobs done in these kind of races. Richie McLennan takes the ride tomorrow, who will be teaming up with Anthony Honeyball's horse Regal Encore later in the week in the Grand National. And he also rode this horse to victory in its only start for Anthony Honeyball back at Market Raisin in a listed bumper back on Boxing Day. So he knows how the horse works, and this horse cost Anthony Honeyball a lot of money. They paid €100,000 for it over from Ireland, and it had some very good Irish form, and I thought at the prices 10-1 it was a good each way bet tomorrow in this race. So that's going to be the selections for me of day 1 of the Aintree Festival. If you fancy any other horses or have any other comments, please leave your comments in the comments box below. Also as well, please subscribe to my YouTube channel here at LuckyLoads15. You can also check me out on Twitter as well under the same name. That's all I've got to say. Please gamble responsibly, and we'll be seeing you soon.